We're about to dive into a problem that feels so incredibly modern, right? But what if I told you that its most powerful cure comes from a story that's over 1,400 years old?
Yeah, of course you have. We all have. It's that cozy, comfortable lie we tell ourselves when we're staring down a task we just don't want to do right now. It feels so harmless in the moment, but, well, it's really not.
Because see, that one little delay, that single decision to just wait, it can kick off a chain reaction with consequences you would never, ever see coming. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
So let's just call this what it is, right? A virus. It's a virus that infects our potential and just eats away at the one thing we can never get back, our time. The source material for this story frames it perfectly, reminding us that time, it's a trust, and we're all going to be asked how we spent it. Now, the word that really jumps out at me here is irrational. Think about it. We know, deep down, that delaying is probably going to make things worse, but we do it anyway. We're basically trading our long-term success for just a tiny hit of temporary relief, all because we're hoping our future self will magically be more motivated or more capable. Okay, so to really get how to beat this thing, we need to look at a case study. And that brings us to the story of Cab Iban Malik. Now, this wasn't some guy who was struggling or unprepared. In fact, it was the exact opposite. He was at the absolute top of his game. And this is what makes his story so unbelievably powerful. Just look at this comparison. Cab himself said he was in peak physical and financial condition. He had the strength, he had the money, he had the means. He had none of the common excuses that you and I use to justify our own delays. His story just strips procrastination down to its raw, naked essence. A simple, pure failure to act. And look, this wasn't some small thing he was putting off. This was a critical military campaign. We're talking severe heat, a huge distance, a massive enemy. It was a moment of truth for his entire community. The stakes could not have been higher. All right, so this is where that tomorrow virus really sinks its teeth in. See, it doesn't happen all at once. It's this slow, creeping paralysis that starts with just one, seemingly harmless decision to wait. Just follow this timeline of an action. It all started with that simple little thought, I can catch up. A couple days later, that same thought gave him this false sense of comfort. And then the cycle just repeated. He'd intend to prepare, but then do nothing. Every single delay made the next one easier. Until, bam, suddenly the army was gone, the battle was over, and he had missed everything. And this was the immediate gut punch. A man at his peak, left behind with people who were either known to be insincere or were physically unable to go. Can you imagine the profound shame, the isolation of that? His inaction had literally separated him from everyone he respected. But the real consequence, that came when the army got back. When he was confronted by the Prophet Muhammad, Cab had a choice. He could make up an excuse, just like some other guys did, or he could face the truth. He chose truth, and the price for that was absolutely severe. 50 nights. Just let that number sink in for a second. For over a month and a half, he was to be completely, totally ostracized by his entire community, all as a consequence for his delay and as a test of his repentance. And this wasn't just getting the silent treatment. Now, this was a complete social death. He said the world itself felt alien to him. His own cousin, his family, wouldn't even return his greeting. That was the crushing psychological weight he had to carry, and it all stemmed from that one little thought, I'll do it tomorrow. But here is the ultimate lesson. After his repentance was finally accepted, this was his big takeaway. Not just that procrastination is bad, but that truthfulness, sidq in Arabic, is the cure. Being honest with the Prophet is what saved him, and being honest with ourselves about our delays, that's what saves us. So Khabib's big lesson wasn't about willpower. It was about truth. So the question is, how do we practice that kind of immediate, truthful action in our own crazy modern lives? Well, let's build ourselves a toolkit based on this ancient wisdom. Okay, this right here is the modern equivalent of silencing that little whisper of delay. The moment you think, I should go to the gym, or I should start that report, you have about 5 seconds before your brain slams on the brakes and talks you out of it. Counting down like this actually hijacks that process. It forces you to physically move. It's a simple trick to outsmart your own brain. Now this matrix, it's brilliant because it solves the root cause of so much procrastination. a total failure to prioritize. The source material calls this concept fiqh al-awlawiyat. This grid forces you to figure out what's truly important versus what's just loud and urgent. And you know where most procrastination lives? It's in that top right box, the important but not urgent stuff. By scheduling those things, you're committing to them before they turn into a full-blown crisis.
And finally, it all comes down to a mindset shift. The tools only work if your head's in the right place. First, stop waiting for the perfect moment. That's just a fancy excuse. Instead, seek consistency, not perfection. Next, if a task feels huge and overwhelming, divide and conquer. Break it down into one tiny doable first step. And if you're still stuck, do what Cab had to do. Confront the cost. Literally write down the pain your delay is causing. Make the pain of waiting worse than the pain of starting.
And that brings us right back to the core of it all. The cure for the tomorrow virus isn't some complicated productivity system. It's the simple, powerful, and absolutely timeless principle that Cab learned through 50 nights of isolation: immediate, truthful action. So I'm going to ask you right now, what is it? What's that one important thing you've been putting off? That email, that call, that first paragraph, that first step? Don't wait. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.